Like any large organization, pastoring a church sometimes feels like you're trying to herd a group of cats. Nobody seems to want to go in the same direction, but everybody's moving at the same time. If you think about the size of Christ Church and our multiple ministries, you can see how it can become that way. Between our music ministry, our schools, our student ministries, children's ministry, adult ministries, all kinds of things going on at once. And when everybody's trying to get their work done, it's easy for people to head off in different directions. That's why I am so excited that we have added to our clergy team Reverend Vivian Kinnear. She is a deacon in retired status, and she is going to serve as our pastor of strategic development. What exactly does that mean? Very simply, Vivian will be working with all of our clergy staff, Pastor Ralph, Pastor Melinda, and myself, to help us make sure that the decisions that we make, the activities that we lead, are coordinated in such a way that all of them help to push forward the overall mission of Christ Church. Vivian is going to help us herd our cats. She comes to us with a great background, not just as a clergy person in her theological depth, but also with her skills and her training in business administration. She's going to help us stay tied into the overall ministry and strategy of the church. And when we have large projects that have multiple parts, like our stewardship campaign or our nominating committee, Vivian is going to help us stay on track, complete assignments in the right time, and in the right way. We will be a better church for Vivian's role here. She comes to us as a retired clergy volunteer. She'll be on the clergy page on the web page, and she is a valuable member of our team. Vivian, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're excited about?
My first appointment was to Christ Church back in 2004, and I served here as on the pastor team as executive pastor until I had a calling.
What some of you may not know is that Christ Church gave birth to another congregation in this area. Covenant United Methodist Church exists because Christ Church provided the leadership and the resources for Reverend Jason Burnham to plant that church. Vivian was called to help organize the business side of this church.
With my background in business administration, I was able to help set up the structure, the business structure of the church, while he took care of the things that only a planting pastor could do. So in that way, I was supportive of the work there as a church plant. And then a couple of years ago, I retired, and soon after I retired, Covenant was about to move into their new building, and I got a call from God saying, "You've got to go back to Christ Church." And my husband remained here while I was in the mission field, and he was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. And the one thing that he had always wanted was for us to worship together. And so I felt a call of God to come back to Christ Church at that time to worship with him and serve with him here. And God has healed him, and now I'm in a position to be of service back to the church. And with that, I had a conversation with Jeff, exploring ways that I could help the church, that I could do something fruitful and positive for the church. And when we started talking about the clergy team and my administrative background and my gift of organizational skills, I felt like that was a place that I could be useful for Christ Church. And so I bring with it 35 years of business and church administration to help move this church forward, as Jeff has a vision for going and growing forward. And that's what I hope we're able to do. And I'm excited to be part of this clergy team and to be back in my home church.
Vivian has already made a valuable contribution to our congregation. Most of her work is behind the scenes, but what she has already done is help us make better use of our time and our resources to reach people for Christ. Vivian, I am glad to have you as part of the team.
I'm honored, Jeff. Thank you.